session is now in session. Do we have some help with Pledge of Allegiance? Come on up.
Yeah.
Would you come all the way up? Okay. You guys are ready. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay.
Mr. President, they're going to do the building presentation, so we can get a picture after it's all done.
Okay. Well, then we'll sit down and let you present. Okay. While they're getting ready, we better do the agenda, so I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve the agenda with additional certified and classified personnel actions for consideration, item number E-3.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Gene seconds. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your left hand. All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carried. Okay, now I think we are ready.
All right. Okay. There we are. Okay, take a deep breath, guys. We're good. We're all a little bit nervous. Okay, so we wanted to present to you this year at Gertrude Walker. My name is Amy Hollingsworth. I'm a principal at Gertrude Walker. And I have with me our incredible, hardworking student council. And so we'll go through each month this year. In August, it was a really, really exciting month for all of us. Well, for me. It was my first year as principal and my first year in Garden City Schools. And I have just loved getting to know these guys. They're amazing. They work really hard. And in August, I told our students that they see me a lot. When they saw me, I would be looking for them to be kind and work hard. And that's what I see every day. They are kind and they work really hard. So we'll let them continue.
In September, we participated in the homecoming parade. In October, we participated in Walk to School Day, and the college football team, except the players, came to our school and walked with us. In November, we recognized Doris during the American Favorite Crossing Guard contest. Stuco decided to have greeters at the front doors each morning for people to be happy. In December, actors from New York performed a Christmas carol. In January, we did Health Week, and 4th grade learned how to do CPR. We also did the Great Kindness Challenge, and kindness should be every week. We also raised money for the Nominees house. We got $247.91 and 271 cans of food. In February, we did the shoe drive. The shoe drive is for people who walk barefoot in different countries. In March, we did pennies for patients. The pennies go to patients that have cancer. And we're doing plans to do an art project with recycled
April and May, we're going to have a Dynamath family engagement activity, and we are going to continue to just be kind and work hard every single day. Thank you, guys.
Very nice. Presentation, and you are the student from the student council, Gertrude Walker. So can we ask a question or two if we have one? Board, any questions for the student council? Any comments?
I have a question. How do you get on student council at your school?
We do the election.
Much? Very good. Yes.
We also have to do presentation, like read a paragraph.
Oh, so you read a paragraph and do a presentation. Very good.
And then students get to choose who they want as president, vice president, secretary, and class rep.
Okay, so you have officers as well. Well, you all did very, very well in representing your school, did a wonderful job in the presentation. And so what I think we'll do is we'll come by, if you'll come by, we want to shake your hand, congratulate you, and then we'll do the picture with the professional photographer. Okay, so start over here.
Right on. Thank you very much. Thank
Thank you for your leadership at school.
Thank you. So what do you need to do to get student of the month? Okay. I like your sweatshirt. Good job. Thank you so much for taking up today.
Thank you for being here. Yeah, well, good job. Good job. Congratulations. Good job.
Thanks for coming tonight. Good job. I like that sweatshirt.
Good job, sir. Thank you.
Did you get nervous? Great job.
Okay, so I guess we just wind up. Okay, we'll line up for a picture. While they're doing that, could we have the parents stand, this leadership team here? Any parents? All right, thank you for being here. Okay, now is a cue to you if you want to get your picture, your camera out too. So let's line up behind the students here. Everybody in?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody.
All right,
say
ready?
cheese.
1, 2, 3.
Everybody got it?
Got him. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you all very much. Okay, very nice presentation. Takes just a little bit out of order on the agenda, but perfect. Okay, I think we're ready actually for C1, recognition of Evan Garola. Mr. Springsteen, is that your cue?
I'm guessing it is.
Okay.
Don't ask me to spell it. Yep, calling up Evan. This is Evan Garola. Evan is an 8th grade student at Horace Good. He is the winner of this year's spelling bee. Horace Good is, Evan is the 4th student in a row in the last 4 years to have the winner at Horace Good. So I think he's going to congratulate his teachers on how much hard work they've done in preparing him to spell. So Evan Garola, congratulations.
Yeah, very good. Anything you want to say?
Well, like Mr. Springsteen said, I'm happy that I could attend Horace Good because, I don't know, when you attend there, you know that the teachers really care about you, and so does everybody else in that building.
Okay, awesome. And your parents are here with you as well?
Yeah.
Do you want to introduce them?
Everybody know who is here with you?
No, that's my mom, Alice, and that's my dad, Gary.
Awesome. If you want to come up, we want to shake your hand. Congratulations. Congratulations. Have a pen. I got it.
So are you someone that studies, or are you someone that just knows a lot of
Thank you very much. Okay. Well, we're still on recognitions here, so I think we're ready for C2. Who's doing the next one? Mr. Gunn. Mr. Gunn.
That would be me.
Okay.
Come on, ladies, don't be shy.
I think this is something new to the board anyway, this category. Is that right?
Well, I think it's been around for a while, but I think this is probably the first time that we've recognized them at a board meeting.
Okay.
So, this is Megan Sloan and Delaney Galpin, and they are both our Teachers of Promise nominees from Newman University. And so how that award works is each university selects two candidates to be recognized for the Kansas State Department of Education Teachers of Promise. And they're selected by their professors and their teachers that they go through the college program. So both of these ladies were the two that Newman University selected, and we're lucky enough to have both of them teach 5th grade for us at A. Hubert. So I'm really excited to have both of them.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, congratulations. Your opportunity to address the board, ask any questions, or say anything you want at this point.
Well, I do have to say, it's definitely been an honor to go through the Newman program. It was awesome to be able to stay here. Delaney and I both did an advanced placement at the very beginning of the year, so we jumped in the classroom from the start, and it has been an awesome experience.
And all the support from
Yes.
our teachers. And
Yes,
coworkers.
Mr. Guyman and coworkers, and it's been awesome, and we plan to stay, or at least I plan to stay for many years to come. So,
Well, that's great. I like
And
to hear
so
that.
the advanced placement that they talked about, these ladies both started out as the student teachers, and so they basically were the teachers of the classroom. We had a teacher of record. Mrs. Ford is in the back. She was the teacher of record for Megan's class first semester, but Megan was in charge of her class from day one. And Delaney had, who was she?
Jenny.
Jenny Berster was her teacher of record, and so they would go in and check on them and offer that support. But these ladies started out teaching day one, and you know, if you went in and watched them, you would not believe that they were first-year teachers, or let alone student teachers at that point. They both did an excellent job. I'm super proud of both of them. So.
That's awesome. Board, do you have any questions for them or for supervising teacher? I know this is new to me, but it's wonderful. And if it's working out for you particularly, it's wonderful. And then you are encouraging the comments saying you'd like to stick around.
Mr. President, that is on record.
Yeah, and I think Abe Hubert is where she's planning on staying, so that's on record as well. So.
Any other comments, board? Okay. Well, again, if we want to shake your hand. And, thank you for that achievement, for the program, and for the support of the program as well. I think it's a wonderful thing. You want to come by? Shake your hand.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for your comments.
Thank you. Yes.
Thanks for all your hard work.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Teammates, right?
That's right.
Teammates. Delaney, congratulations.
Thank you. Yes.
That's right. Yeah.
It's always awesome to meet teachers of promise. With that, I think correspondence. Any correspondence that we have? Okay, takes care of that. I think we're ready for consent agenda.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the consent agenda with the items as follows. Items E1 through 5D, and I will be recusing myself from the vote because of a conflict of interest.
Okay. Well, we have the motion. Do we have a second? Okay, motion and a second. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. All the same sign. Motion passed. Thank you, Dr. Carlin. into discussion items. Ready for item F, curriculum reports. Kansas Reading Roadmap.
You want to switch the order of those?
Oh, I'm sorry. We were going to switch that. Multi-tier system of support. You want to test out for iPad? Welcome to the board, Crystal.
So I'm just presenting kind of a general overview of our multi-tiered systems of support. You also may hear this referred to as MTSS. So just a basic definition of what multi-tiered systems of support is. So it's a term used in Kansas to describe how the system we create to support children to help them be successful in the classroom, and then along with that, the processes and the tools we use to do that. The Kansas MTSS framework, its purpose is to identify kids at an early stage who are at risk of struggling, who are struggling with more content, and then develop an intervention for them so that they can be successful with instruction in the classroom. All of a sudden, I'm really nervous. I don't know why. So this is just a graphic to kind of help you understand the different components of the MTSS framework. So there's different tiers. There is tier 1, which includes all students, so our students who are performing at grade level, below grade level, and then above grade level. So all of those students get tier 1 instruction, and then my next slide I'll talk about what that looks like in our district. And then the next 2 tiers, they're called tier 2 and tier 3. So these are really geared towards our students who are, again, at risk, struggling, performing below grade level. And they would receive what we call tier 2 or tier 3 support, which would be the supplemental or intervention. This is kind of what these 3 different tiers look like in our district. So we have tier 1 instruction, which is really the core classroom instruction. All students receive this instruction. And then within that, teachers can differentiate. So even though I'm receiving tier 1 instruction, I may get a differentiated, I may be differentiated with by the teacher. So for example, if I'm a below level, performing below grade level standards, the activity I may do during a certain lesson would be different than a student who's performing above grade level. So even though all students are receiving it, it may be tweaked or changed based on the level of that student and the differentiation that the teacher provides. Tier 2 looks, there's 2 different components to our tier 2. The majority of our buildings have what we call a walk-to intervention. This looks different in every building, but for the most part, it's a designated time in their schedule when the whole building goes into what we call a walk-to intervention. So every student in that building receives an intervention. It may not be from their core teacher, it may be from a different teacher. Kids kind of go wherever and they receive intervention or instruction on a skill or in the content that they are struggling with. During this time also is when we're able to do some enrichment activities. So if I'm a student performing at grade level or be above, we're able to do some of those enrichment activities. So, and that looks different at every building. For example, there may be coding or robotics. I know there's been some really neat things done at the school with measurement, with sewing. So there's lots of different enrichment with that as well. So not only the intervention, but the enrichment comes into play at that. We also have a tier 2, which we would call maybe pull out, and that's approximately 30 minutes of additional support. So it's not pulled, they're not pulled within the core, so I receive my regular tier 1 instruction, and this is 30 minutes on top of that, and again, addressing the skill or in the content that I'm struggling with. These groups are usually really small, no more than 5 to 6, and the interventions are usually provided by a interventionist or a para-interventionist who's supervised and plans with an interventionist. Tier 3 would be a more intensive area of intervention. It's 30 minutes on top of, so it would be a tier 2 and the tier 3. And again, I'm receiving an intensive intervention on the skill or the content that I'm struggling with. This group, again, it's even smaller, really targeted at 1 to 3 students. These are just samples of what some of our MTSS documents look like. This is a kindergarten universal screener flowchart. So basically, after we do our universal screener, we use this flowchart to kind of dive down into the skill the students are struggling with, and then what program or what tool we have as a district to help support students who are struggling with that skill. These are, TASN creates these, and then we've actually adopted this to kind of fit our district, add in the programs we have, and then our assessment.
Can I ask a quick question? So, does the level in which a student gets placed in based solely on the Bass Bridge report, or is it a more?
That is a piece that's probably like the first screen that they go through, and then they'll look at other pieces of data. So for example, if I have a kid that flags there, but all this other data I have shows that that might have been just a bad date, then we look at those other pieces of data as well. And this is just a sample of what our K-6 curriculum protocol looks like. At the end of those flowcharts, it would say, like, refer to the curriculum protocol. This is what one looks like. Once I've identified the skill, or the teachers and buildings have identified the skill the student's struggling with, it's basically just a collection of resources that we have in the district that can help support working on that topic or that skill. And then just continuing to move forward with MTSS, so we continue to evaluate our current practices and looking at those that are yielding evidence of effectiveness. So what's working, what intervention groups or what programs are we having success with, and then also looking at ones that maybe aren't showing the successes we used to see or we're not having good results with. So it's just a continuous evaluation and feedback, and this is done throughout the year. So not only at the beginning, in the middle, or the end, but also in the middle as things are released and new research comes out.
Any questions for it?
I have a question. So how often would you say that we see kids move out of the tier 2 and 3?
I guess it just depends. I don't have those specific numbers. I did look up how many kids we have in interventions right now. We're looking about, if you go K-8, about 20% are in their tier 2 and tier 3. But I didn't gather information on the movement. I know, again, that's looked at not only from like fall to winter, so the different assessment windows, but also continuously. So we progress monitor students who are in 2 and 3, so we collect data on them either weekly or bi-weekly, depending on what kind of intervention they collect. And as they start to show that trend line that they're ready to move on, then we move them out. So it's a very fluid in and out. We might pick up a kid that maybe we didn't originally flag but really struggling. So I could probably get that. It would be a little tricky because kids are constantly moving in and out, but I don't have those specific numbers on that.
Other questions for me? I've got one just as point clarity. So if a student is doing really well and they're meeting their grade level or above, during that tier 2 time, they have the opportunity to go to some enrichment activity
Yes.
for 30 minutes or something.
Yeah, however long the building is built in for walk to intervention, yes.
Okay. And that right now that's designed as enrichment. If they're really accelerated, I mean, working that out in this fluid system, they might want to go to another class, or do you ever do anything like that? I'm just trying to wrap my mind around
Sure.
the fluidity here. And
Yeah, that might go through another process, like our SAT process, maybe a gifted referral. I think that would include another piece.
Another piece.
Little piece of it. During that enrichment time, they may be with, since kids kind of go all over the building, I may work with kids from another grade level, know, if I have a second grader, I may go to a group that's got third, fourth kids in it. It just kind of depends on how they set up.
And enrichment opportunities probably too. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much
Thank you.
for that presentation. And that's the charts here that we have on the wall too.
Yep,
right?
those are the Kansas MTSS.
Okay.
Yep.
Are we ready for the next curriculum report, which I believe is the Kansas Reading Roadmap? Ms. Diaz?
Oh, blue and red.